So I just saw Ready or Not, and it was good. Basically, this movie's about a woman who gets married into this rich family, and then because she's now a new member of the family, she has to do an initiation to be part of the family. So she plays a game of hide and seek where she has to stay hidden till dawn, but little does she know the family are actually hunting her down to try and kill her for a ritual. Basically, imagine You're Next if it had sex with the Great Gatsby. Except nowhere near as serious as that combination sounds. Despite the advertising, I would not really call this movie a horror movie. There are definitely elements it borrows from the horror genre and a couple of attempts at being scary, but this is much more a black comedy in the vein of something like Tucker and Dale vs. Evil than it is an actual horror film. And honestly, that was the perfect choice. The comedy in this movie is absolutely hilarious, and I have a strange feeling if they played this a lot more seriously, the film would not work nearly as well. The dialogue was absolutely fantastic. The characters were very fun to watch and entertaining, especially our lead heroine portrayed by Samara Weaving, who does a fantastic job here. The film does a great job of making her likable and easy to empathize with, and on top of that, she's kind of our view into this strange society. To draw comparisons back to The Great Gatsby, she seems very much like the Nick Carraway of the story, except much more badass. Speaking of badass, I really enjoyed the film's action. Again, not particularly scary, but it was genuinely tense at points, and all of the deaths were very satisfying. I very much adored the film in terms of costume and production design. The clothes and the mansion all looked pretty cool. The film's lighting and color palette was excellent, and there were some great framing choices. However, I do personally wish the film used a lot less shaky cam. Most of this movie is shot handheld, and it works for the most part, but there were definitely a few scenes where it was just kind of annoying. The opening scene in particular, the music, while not poorly utilized by any means, could have been a lot better. This is not a musical score I plan on ever returning to. I did mention earlier that the film was much more comedy than horror, but at the same time I do have one issue with some of the horror. Most of the jump scares in the movie were used to comedic effect, and that was very effective. However, there is one fairly late on in the film that just did not work at all. It's the type of jump scare you could do a 3, 2, 1 countdown to on your first watch. One other thing I really love about this film is the pacing. The film never wasted any time or dragged on. At no point was I ever bored. The gore was all over the top, but it was a lot of fun, and I'm pretty sure that was the point. The script again was mostly great, however I did have one issue with one of the plot twists, that being it was the most predictable thing they could have possibly gone with. Without spoiling anything, let's just say if you've seen this movie you know exactly what I'm talking about, and if you see this movie, when you get to a specific scene you will realize exactly what I am talking about. The hair and makeup was well done, the effects were mostly great. This is also one of few films that manages to do slow-mo really effectively. It was all in all a really solid film, and I'd highly recommend it. Check this movie out if you haven't already. I know it's already out in the US, but still. Even if it doesn't look like your kind of thing, it's worth it if not just for the dialogue, the lead, and the production design. So yeah, give it a shot, it's a lot of fun and I can't wait to see it again. And I'm giving Ready or Not an 8 out of 10.